All right. So, welcome to RCAM. I'm your host, Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. So, we have a lot to talk about. Some crazy things happening on the internet and just in the world in general. So, it's kind of been a pretty good news cycle. So, the first story that I want to talk about is Harvard's ex president uh, being caught plagiarizing and ultimately resigning, and how this is somehow conservatives' fault, because everything's our fault. You get caught plagiarizing, of course, it's the conservatives. So I want to dive into this story first because I think it is it is hilarious and also just baffling. It's baffling to me how these people can get caught red-handed plagiarizing and then twist the narrative to make it seem like it's the fault of conservatives. So here's the headline from the Associated Press. Plagiarism charges downed Harvard's president. A conservative attack helped to fan the outrage. So, American higher education has long viewed plagiarism as a cardinal sin. Accusations of academic dishonesty have ruined the careers of faculty and undergraduates alike. This is true. Do you know once I actually got in trouble for plagiarizing my own work? I'm not even kidding. I was like, "Are you serious?" They're like, "Yeah, you need to cite it." I'm like, "But I wrote it. Like, these are my thoughts." So that's how crazy and extreme they take plagiarism. But when it's one of their own, when it's their diversity hire, you can't do that. No, then it becomes a problem. So let's continue reading. So the latest target is Harvard President Claudine Gay, who I'm sorry, guys, I'm a little immature. Claudine Gay, who resigned Tuesday. In her case, the outrage came not from her academic peers, but her political foes, led by conservatives who put her career under intense scrutiny. Did conservatives do that? I mean, they definitely scrutinized her, no question about that, but I I feel like I recall Claudine Gay giving testimony justifying uh, protest calling for genocide against Israel. I'm pretty sure that's what got her in hot water. I'm pretty sure that's kind of what spurred things. You're supporting, genocide. Yeah, yeah. People are going to start to look at you, and she opened herself up, and everything that came as a result of it is completely on her. But no, rest assured, it's the fault of conservatives. So reviews by Harvard found multiple shortcomings in Gay's academic citations, including several instances of duplicative language. The university concluded the errors were not considered intentional or reckless and didn't raise misconduct, but the allegations continued with new ones as recently as Monday. It's just a little plagiarism, guys. No big deal. Just stealing other people's, intellectual property. Not a big deal, just a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. No big deal. So conservatives zeroed in on Gay amid the backlash over her congressional testimony about anti-Semitism on campus. Her detractors charged that Gray, who had a PhD in government, was a professor at Harvard and Stanford, and headed Harvard's largest division before being promoted. Got the job in large part because she is a black woman. Well, I mean, that's true. She didn't have the qualifications, and she did get the job because she's a black woman. I mean, that is why she was hired. She is the result of these DEI hires or these affirmative action hires. That's why she got the job. So Christopher Rufo, a conservative activist who helped orchestrate the efforts against Gay, celebrated her departure as a win in his campaign against elite institutions of higher education. On X, formerly Twitter, he wrote "scalped." As if Gay was a trophy of violence, invoking a gruesome practice taken up by white colonists who sought to eradicate Native Americans and also use some tribes against their enemies. This statement is wild. All right, so one, saying scalped is pretty based. I mean, you know, we got one. We actually caught somebody doing something really bad, and the pressure put on by conservatives forced her to resign. Now, she is resigning, but she will remain faculty at Harvard. So she'll continue to get, I think it's like $900,000. Someone fact check me on that. I might be wrong, but she's still going to get $500 or $900,000 a year. Not bad. I mean, not bad. If I could get away with plagiarism, resign, and still make $900,000 a year, I think I'm doing pretty good. I say that's a win for her. And she's getting off light. But the crazy thing about this is, so they write, invoking a gruesome practice taken up by white colonists who sought to eradicate Native Americans. Where did scalping originate from? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't the white colonist scalping their enemies. I'm pretty sure if we're not doing revisionist history, that it was actually the Native Americans who were scalping people. You know, that was their thing. Their thing was scalping people, not white colonists. But because we have to blame whites for everything and conservatives for everything, this is the narrative that they're going with. This is wild to me. Absolutely wild, and I am floored. I am floored too at the way that Claudine Gay is playing the victim here. It wasn't that she plagiarized, guys. Again, that's not that big of a deal. Everyone plagiarizes. A little bit of plagiarism is okay. No, it was the fact that everybody that looked into her past and looked into the clear examples of plagiarism, it's that they were racist. It's because she was a black woman that she lost her job. Nothing to do with her plagiarism, nothing to do with her misconduct, nothing to do with her support for genocide. No, it had to do with racism. People could not handle a strong black woman as president, and this is the obvious result. She lost her job. Although I just want to go on record and say that nobody cares really that she was a black woman. They care about the plagiarism. That's the problem. And it really doesn't matter what your race is. If you are plagiarizing, that's kind of bad. Just saying. That's not a good thing. It's not a good look. So yeah, I think this was well deserved, and I hope that it goes a step further and she doesn't keep that cushy job on faculty. That her career ends. And ends forever, because what she did was pretty awful. She stole somebody else's work, multiple people's work, and passed it off as her own. That is wrong, very obviously. So yeah, I thought that story was fascinating. So now I wanted to jump into a different topic. I wanted to cover this topic last week because it's a big one. And I mean that in the most literal sense possible. This is a big topic. And we are going to get into it. So I saw this video shared today, and this is actually kind of this Lauren Witzke, I think I'm pronouncing that right, is mentions a story that I read, I think it was last week, about Southwest Airlines, probably 2 weeks ago. Southwest Airlines, they had stated that they are now giving their customers of size, and they use that terminology, customers of size, an extra seat for free. And Lauren had some comments, but I just want to jump into this video because I think it's very telling. All right, let's see. Hopefully this works. All right. All right, that's enough of that. So I like this little for this TikTok video. Honestly, it's discrimination that they can't build wider aisles in airplanes in 2023. Yes, it's discrimination that you are so obese that you can't fit down the aisles. That's our bad. I mean, I am outraged that airplanes didn't think of 500-pound people when they were constructing their seats. I am outraged that they didn't think, we might have somebody that is so obese that they can't move down the aisle, so we need to make them extra wide. But how wide? I don't know. We don't know. Because we don't know. America is pushing boundaries on how fat they can become. That it's spawning an entire industry of fat influencers. And that's not me. That's not me being mean. They call themselves fat influencers. And they are encouraging body positivity by being morbidly obese. And I have a lot of problems with this. So obviously, we should not accommodate these individuals. Not only should they have to pay for an extra seat, they should have to pay more for being an inconvenience. And they should have to pay more to encourage them to refrain from their unhealthy lifestyle. This may sound mean, this may sound harsh, but this woman is on her way to an early grave. So 40% of America's population is overweight. And I don't know how many are this obese, but certainly she's not a healthy individual. And I can look at that and say, objectively, she is not healthy. And I am legitimately concerned for this person because, I don't want to see them die of a heart attack. Maybe fat influencers aren't thinking about this, but when you're healthy or when you're obese, you're more prone to heart disease. Not to mention, I can't imagine what it's like to carry all the extra weight. And also, yeah, she's going to get looks. She's going to get looks because she is so overweight that she can't fit down the aisles. And then somebody's just going to be sitting on this plane and are they going to get squished to accommodate her? No, well, at least not on Southwest they're not. No, they're going to get moved and she's going to get a free seat. And I think we have pushed this as far as we can possibly go, and it's time to bring back fat shaming. That may sound mean, that may sound harsh, but it's true. If you are this overweight, you should feel ashamed. I mean, this is something that I would say 99.9% of the time, it's on you. If you exercise a little bit of self-control, a little bit of discipline, you could lose weight. It's really as simple as not eating and exercising. And if people say, I eat and exercise and I can't lose the weight, you're lying. You are a liar. I show me your phone. I can guarantee you're not taking enough steps a day. I can guarantee that you are eating more calories than your body can handle. I guarantee that's what's happening. And I think this is a problem. I also think this is a problem not just for your general populace, but also in the church. So I'm a Christian. And today I started to think about how many times I've heard pastors preach against obesity or preach against gluttony. And I actually don't recall ever hearing one single sermon about obesity. Not one. Not in my entire life as a churchgoer. I've never heard a pastor from the pulpit call people to repent from gluttony. I've never heard a pastor from the pulpit. Actually, I did hear one encouraging exercise. He was a gym rat, so that's good. but pastors don't preach this message, and there can only be two reasons why. All right, one, the pastor themselves is obese, and if you're a fat, overweight pastor, you're in sin and you need to lose weight and step down and be an example for your congregation. Because the first thing I think when I see an obese pastor is a man that has no self-control. And if you do not have self-control, then you are not led by the Spirit. Because one of the fruits of the Spirit is actually self-control. So if you are given into eating unrestrained, and you don't have enough discipline to exercise, then you demonstrate that you do not have self-control. So one being pastors are overweight themselves. The other reason is that they don't want to offend their congregants. They want to preach what they want them to hear, but not what they need to hear. And trust me when I say this, if 40% of America's population is obese, they need to hear sermons on gluttony. They need to hear sermons on discipline and self-control, because if we do not preach this message, guess what's going to happen? These people are going to die. So you could think, Ryan, you're being mean. No, I'm actually being loving, and I'm actually one of the few people that have the courage to call out morbid obesity, because I don't want people to die from heart attacks. I want people to be healthy. I want people to experience life without having to carry an extra 300 pounds with them, and having energy for their kids and their loved ones, and to live a long, prosperous life and actually walk according to the Spirit. That's my desire. That's what I want to see. But we will not see this as long as pastors remain cowardice and we continue to foster a culture that placates to the morbidly obese. This has to change. This has to change in every level of society. I mean, think about this. When you see our health officials and they're either overweight or unhealthy. How are you going to have people in charge of public health when they're overweight, when they don't live healthy lifestyles? And I believe our Secretary of Health right now is an overweight transgender man. Really inspiring confidence there in public health. No, these people should not be leading us. What I want to see is somebody like Zuby. That guy should be Secretary of Health. Somebody that's fit and focuses on eating right and working out and exercise, and can actually be a role model for people and give people a guide on how to be healthy. I'd like to see a culture that changes to accommodate a lifestyle of health and fitness. Yeah, I think I don't remember where I saw this sign, but I saw an image of a sign. Maybe it was in like Taiwan or something. I don't know. But it had two lanes. It had like a skinny person lane with a little skinny person on the floor, and then a fat lane. And if you were skinny, you got to go on the express lane, and on the fat lane, you didn't, and you were kind of shameful. And they have a culture where they shame people for being overweight, and I think that's actually a good thing. I think it's a good thing to shame people who are overweight, but also to encourage them to get into shape. Because if any one of these people join the gym, and this is something that people don't tell you about gym culture, we would be celebrating it. I wouldn't be making fun of the person getting on the treadmill. I'd be celebrating that, giving them high fives. Way to go! Way to prioritize your health and fitness. That's a good thing, and I think that needs to be a part of our culture. But I fear we will not see that. So hence why I have to make videos like this, to try to bring this conversation to light, because it needs to happen. All right, moving on. So next story is this video. Oh, God. This video is a nightmare for me. All right. Sounds on. All right. Let's play it.
One of the most well-known families on TikTok just shared an emotionally heartwarming coming out story. In the touching video, 8-year-old Diana was gifted a colorful bracelet from their mother Ika that revealed their new name in a heartfelt way that has been seen hundreds of thousands of times.
I got you a present because you changed your name and I thought you'd love this. You want to see? What does it say? What does it say?
The self-described family of misfits has over 2.5 million followers on TikTok and is comprised of mom Ika McLeod and her 3 adoptive children, Diana, Eli, and Ella. Eli has cerebral palsy, and Diana and Ella are on the autism spectrum. Fans have loved watching Diana's journey of self-identity. When they officially came out as transgender 2 years ago, the comment section was filled with supportive messages praising the young influencer. As one fan said, "So proud of you, Diana. We love you." Fans love seeing Diana's queer identity journey in such a wholesome way, such as experiencing her first day at school. It's one of the most...
All right, so that makes me sick. So this, if you're not tracking that, that is a little boy who suffered from Munchausen by proxy because his mother is a psychopath that transed her child. And also just something to note, seems like to me like a single mom was able to adopt this boy, and I didn't see a father present. And this seems to be a trend with kids who start identifying as trans. They don't have a present father. Either he is not involved at all, or he is checked out, and he's an absolute squish. But this mother decided that she was going to, quote unquote, affirm her child's new gender identity and give, did I say her? Oh, God. Him a new name. And I think this is horrible. I think this mother should go to prison for child abuse because she's projecting what she wants onto this child. And actually robbing this child of their real identity, because you can call him Diana, but at the end of the day, he's still a boy. You can pretend like he's a girl, but at the end of the day, he's still a boy. And what this woman is doing is sowing irreversible damage into this child. And one day he's going to wake up and he's going to realize what's been done to him. That his mother used him for clout on the internet. And his mother didn't have enough sense to affirm his biological reality. And she affirmed a lie. Man, I cannot wait for people to wake up to this insanity. And there is going to be a point where this moment in history is going to be looked at with disdain. People are not going to believe what we've done to these children. People are not going to believe that we've entertained such grand delusions. And at the scale that we're doing it. They're going to be utterly baffled. I still cannot believe this is happening. I see it. I've known it's been happening for a long time, but it still shocks me that people like this actually exist and people are willing to subject their children to this kind of insanity. It's crazy town. And I hope that somebody gets through to this kid, and I hope one day this woman loses her rights to her children before she starts doing even more damage to them. Damage that cannot be undone. All right. Ugh. All right, next story. So this is in the trend of degenerate perverts. So this is brought to us by LGBTQ Nation. So LGBTQ plus activists saved a beloved queer beach after city tried to build a playground nearby. The horror. Parents want to build a playground for their kids to play, but it's too much for the degenerate perverts who like to walk around naked. So Seattle has canceled a proposed plan to build a playground at a nude beach following backlash from city's LGBTQ plus community. As Seattle Times reported, funding for the proposed $550,000 project to build a children's playground at Denny Blaine Park, a grassy lawn overlooking a secluded beach on Lake Washington, came from an anonymous donor. At a community meeting earlier this month, Seattle Parks and Recreation's Deputy Superintendent Andy Sheffer said that the project would address a lack of playgrounds in the neighborhood without using public funds. So an anonymous donor sees a problem, sees that children don't have a place where they can play and be kids, but heroically, the LGBTQ community comes and stops that. No, kids cannot play. They cannot have fun because they need to be naked. So, but it reads, but opponents countered that a playground would jeopardize the beach's status as a queer haven, where members of the LGBTQ plus community swim and sunbathe in the nude. While public nudity is legal in Washington state, it shouldn't be. It can be considered indecent exposure under certain circumstances, the Times noted, and opponents of the project fear the playground would be used as an excuse to target LGBTQ plus people. Yes, because building a playground, this person had in mind, yes, this is how I'll get those nudists. I'll build a children's playground. These people are psychos. So some even allege that the purpose of the project was to displace the LGBTQ plus community, despite Seattle Park officials' insistence otherwise. If you have a person who's not in the community showing up with their kids, there are people around who are naked. They are probably going to call the cops. Damn right, and they should. This is this kind of weaponization of children to try to exclude or harm the queer community is just an example. Yes, you are being harmed because people might not want you naked around their children. Yes, of course. It's about you. You're the victims here, and not the children that have been denied the right to a park. An online petition opposing the playground garnered over 9,000 signatures. Let me keep reading. Someone goes on to say, I'm a black transgender man and a homeowner in the city. Denny Blaine is the only park that I feel safe to swim in, said Vince Raymond, a Seattle native. When I transitioned, I thought I would never be able to swim in Lake Washington again. Denny Blaine is my miracle. Yes. Heaven forbid. It's not like you can't, swim, at a regular beach with your clothes on. No. No, you have to have a entirely nude beach to feel comfortable at. And it just shows you how degenerate these people are. And they just go on and on and on, raising hell over this children's park. And it just shows you what type of people these actually are. They prioritize being able to be nude over children getting a playground. Now, here's my proposal. I know this will never happen, but this is what I would do. I would make it illegal to have nude beaches anywhere. If I were supreme dictator of the United States, I would outlaw nude beaches. And some of you might say, they're not hurting anybody. I don't care. It's degenerate, and I don't think it should be allowed. I just don't. It's just immoral behavior. So we should ban immoral behavior, and walking around a beach with dozens of other naked people seems kind of immoral to me. Just gonna throw that out there. It's immoral, and it should not be allowed. And I would also ban nudist colonies too. No, the only place you can be nude is in your house and in front of your spouse. And that's it. There's no reason to be nude anywhere else. And Nothing of value would be lost. People would be fine. You go to regular beaches like everybody else. You put clothes on like everybody else, and that's it. And it's over. It's done. It's a done deal. Anyway, I thought, yeah, that was pretty obnoxious. All right. And last one in the theme of the LGBT themes. So we have Libs of TikTok. She reported that Lake Ridge Pacers is holding an all-ages, family-friendly drag show for students. And of course, they close the comments only on this post. They know what they're doing. A bunch of parents reach out to me about this. Parents are very upset. The school doesn't care. They completely disregard all parents' concerns. So, yeah, this is the flyer. They're hosting an all-age drag show. God, this is so degenerate. But the good news is once Libs of TikTok just showed what they are doing, showed their own promotional material, that's all they did, they decided to cancel the event. So they write, with a heavy heart and deep concern for the safety of our students, teachers, and staff, we must regrettably announce the postponement of the DragFest event scheduled for January 7th. See how they write that? They write with a heavy heart, like somebody died. Nobody died. You're just not able to cross-dress in front of children. You're just not able to pervert children. The horror, the absolute horror of this. It's insane to me. It's insane to me that this is how they pen this statement because they can't cross-dress in front of kids. Now, they say postponed. God, I hope it's postponed forever because this is insanity. And nobody in their right mind should be cross-dressing in front of children. I mean, nobody should be cross-dressing at all. It's all degenerate. But doing it in front of children is much, much worse. It's awful. So, yeah, I think this is insane, and I'm glad it's being postponed, and hopefully it doesn't reemerge. So I just want to read the rest of this. This decision has been driven by an alarming threats made by known violent and hate-driven organizations. So they're referring to Libs of TikTok for simply just reporting this. These threats have arisen due to invitations extended to such organizations by individuals within and outside our learning community who do not align with our core values of inclusivity and belonging. No, they don't align with degeneracy. They don't align with grooming and perverting children. Seems pretty straightforward to me. Seems pretty obvious that you don't do this in front of kids. You know, drag is sexual in nature and has no business being done for children. So, yeah, I'm glad this is getting the axe, and I hope that it stays dead. But these people will, if I've learned anything, they will absolutely do everything in their power to pervert children. So keep an eye on this. All right, let's see here. All right, so this last story. So I like to end my my show with weird stories. You know, I might not do this forever, but I really enjoy a good weird story. And this publication, The Sun, has some weird news. So this is actually an old article. So this is from 2018, I believe. I feel like I've seen. So this was on June. 2016. This was originally published. So the headline is, "Women will be having more sex with robots than men by 2025." Well, that's going to be soon. And, you know, this would have kind of seemed wild in 2016, but you flash forward, and now that we have artificial intelligence and we have Elon Musk literally building robots that look like the robots from iRobot, humanoid style robots. This seems very possible. Uh, so yeah, this seems right around the corner. So it says women will be ditching men for robots when they want to get frisky in 10 years time and could ever start falling in love with the machines. So obviously the Sun, this is like a fringe website, but I don't think this is going to be primarily women doing it. I think this is going to be men. And we're already seeing men sink to like crazy lows. Just um doing really pathetic things. You got men paying for AI girlfriends. They're doing that. They're paying for uh, uh, to chat with fake girlfriends, and they're falling in love with them. Very bizarre and also pretty pathetic. But then you also have men that pay for artificial girlfriends in other ways by subscribing to OnlyFans, which is also pretty pathetic. And I think you will have men very soon trading the love of a real woman for a robot. So the article goes on to say a lot of people will still have reservations about sex with robots. You think? You think it might be a little weird for people to be having sex with machines? You don't think that's kind of bizarre? That is wild and creepy and degenerate and honestly pretty pathetic. I actually did a poll recently. I asked, what is more pathetic? Men who pay for OnlyFans or men who have sex with robots? And I believe the final results of the poll were like, actually, I think I could just pull this up. I have it here. Hold on a second. Marks, polls. All right. Yeah, here we go. All right. Here's the results. All right. So what's more pathetic? Paying an OnlyFans prostitute, because they are prostitutes. I know people say models, but they're prostitutes. They're not models. It's literally digital prostitution. So, or buying a sex robot. And it looks like buying a sex robot took the lead by being more pathetic. I think both are equally as pathetic, to be honest. Like, I think if you're a man and you're paying a stranger for access to sexually explicit images, that's pathetic. I think if you watch porn in general, you're just a pathetic man. You demonstrate no self-control. I think the women that sell this are also pretty pathetic. It's just overall porn is pathetic. And yeah, I do not like how the future is looking, because this could be happening as early as next year. And like I said before, with the development of AI and the fact that we actually have humanoid robots and the fact that we have companies already pushing to make lifelike sex dolls, yeah, they're just going to combine all these things, and soon we're going to see, I mean, the collapse of, of society. Really, I mean, this is like if people are exchanging real relationships for robots, we're in a pretty bad spot. Now, the one silver lining that I can see is that this will eventually put OnlyFans out of business. Thank goodness. But then we've created a whole other problem, because it's going to create a disconnect unlike anything that we've ever seen. And I don't even want to know the type of men that this is going to bring into the world. Absolutely disgusting. But this is signs of the time. We are quickly approaching end times, and the world is going to get darker, and people are going to do more and more evil. And it's easy to get discouraged, but I encourage you, if you're watching, if you're listening, to take heart, because despite the evil that we're seeing, God will have the victory, and there is always hope. And I think we might see some people rising up to push back against this stuff, and we will see what happens. So that is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. If you liked my video, please give me a like, subscribe, follow me on my socials, do all that fun stuff. And I will be doing this every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. That is my solemn commitment to you. If I am not here live streaming, something has happened to me and you need to send help. Or maybe my daughter's screaming. But I want to try to be here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I want to be more consistent. This is kind of one of the things that I'm resolving to do, because I'm passionate about this. I believe that I can make a difference in this culture, and I believe that God gave me a platform to do that, and I'm gonna do it. And I want to take this seriously, and I appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a blessed night. Deuces.